This call is being recorded for your purposes, not quality purposes. Hey everybody, it's Nina. Thanks so much for joining the webinar today. I am the founder of Metaspire Consulting and the creator of Business Coaching on Demand and supervirtualteams.com. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I have some exciting stuff planned for you today, and the good news is I'm not doing all the talking. It's very interactive, and so what we're going to do is get started right away. And I would love to know if you would chat yes. It would be really helpful if you could see my PowerPoint slide. So just go ahead and chat yes if you can see my PowerPoint slide. Okay, great. And that's great. And so before also we get started, I'd love to know who's in the room. And so I'm going to launch a quick poll and see who's here. So if you're a business leader looking for more and you're working within an organization, go ahead and click that part of the poll. You should see a poll right up on your screen. And if you're a business owner looking for more, then go ahead and click on that. If you have a meaningful and successful business of your own, go ahead and click on that one. Or if you want to advance in your current career, or you want a different career, or maybe you're one of my clients already, and that's cool too. If there's something other than that, you can just go ahead and click on the chat. It'd be awesome. How many can see the chat? Oh, okay. Okay. All right, so business leader looking for more. So there's more people joining the line right now. So if you have just joined the call, welcome, first of all. Secondly, we do have JB Glossinger in the line with us, so I'm super excited about that. I'm launching the poll here. If you can, we can get started right away. This is an interactive session. So if you can go ahead and just click on whatever one of those options fits for you, go ahead and let's do that. Okay, so it looks like most of us are business leaders or business owners looking for more, and it's about a 50-50 split, so good. That helps us a lot. If you said you were a business leader, I'm assuming that that means that you are working for an organization that's not your own. If you're a partner in an organization, go ahead and select business owner, because it does make a little bit of a difference in terms of what we talk about. Okay, and it looks like I want to advance in my current career is also important. That's good to know. Good to know. Okay, let's get started here because I want to honor everyone's time. You know, many of you know that I'm a coactive coach, and coactivity, this is a really important part of being a business leader. It's really transformational, except that sometimes it doesn't help so much with being practical. And I have some nice surprises for you guys and some bonuses when you stay to the end, but you have to stay to the end. I'm going to do a quick little bit of housekeeping here. And you know what? This is the part where I usually tune out and I'm like, yeah, whatever. But here's the deal. I'm not going to read everything on the slide. So if you want to make the most of your time, and I think you do, I would suggest to keep your eyes on the slide, and I'll be asking lots of questions. So be prepared to look at the chat button, and we'll go from there. So just know that I won't call on you without your permission, but I will have a recording available at the end, and that will come into your inbox. And if you do have a question, raise your hand. This is just, you know, JB and I want to be in service to you. Okay, so are you on the right call? You are in the right place if you're a business leader ready to pause, refresh, and renew. So thank you. Thank you for taking the time to be with us today. I know there's a million other things you could be doing, and you decided to join us, so thank you for that. So let's just take a moment now and pause and take a deep breath and let it out if you haven't already. And let's just forget for a second what happened before this call and what's going to happen after the call. And really just be in this point in time. It's May 18th, 10 minutes after noon. And let's enjoy this space and time together. And when you feel yourself wandering, just don't judge it, just come right back so that you can be with us and we can all be together. So it sounds like some of you want a meaningful and prosperous work life that does more than pay the bills, but you just don't have it yet. Or maybe you have some trouble talking to coworkers about your dreams or family members about your dreams. Maybe some of you know what your dreams are, but you don't have the finances to keep it going, or you're just not sure how much you want to invest in your work life pursuit. Some of you have a new business idea or a new career idea, and you just need some time to work it out. Really, you just need to have somebody listen to what's being said and what's not being said, so that they can hear and see you and your strengths for what they really are. So if you're wanting something better and you know that you're in charge of your own destiny and you're wanting to make a larger impact, you're in the right place. So for many of us that are very highly competent, which I can see who's on the call, and I know most of you, and some of you guys are even my clients, which is awesome. You're tired of doing work and life alone. You know, you could do it, you've done it, and you have a high abundance of family priorities, but you don't have the flexibility and freedom to fully self-express without risking your financial security. Maybe you are hesitant or just don't talk to people at work, and so what you're often needing is a good crew. And we're going to talk a little bit about that in a minute. So if you want something better, again, and you don't want to lose the good you have in your life, maybe that's a fun, rewarding career with people you respect and enjoy, and you don't have to babysit. Let me tell you why I'm here, and I know why JB's here. We both believe in abundance. We both know what it's like to have a lot of money and no work fulfillment. And we have really a lot of knowledge about having a lot of fulfillment and no money. So today we have money and fulfillment, and we want you to know that these things are not mutually exclusive. So you're here with us, and you get to have your own questions answered. But before you do, I just want to put a context around the session today. If you want to wake up in your dream career, you're going to learn how to do that. And you're going to learn how to do it before you put your family and finances at risk. We're going to talk a little bit about the 3 proven secrets to a more impactful leadership presence. Over the decades, JB included, I've interviewed hundreds, maybe even thousands of integrity-based leaders, and I asked them what's their trick, and how did they get there? And so we're going to talk a little bit about that framework, and hopefully it's going to provoke some thought in you about where you are, and you're going to be able to get some value from this call and get to that next level. So here's the deal. I promise by the time you leave this webinar, you'll be inspired to take action towards a work life that energizes and supports you. And I'm going to show you how to get there. And I know that that's a really bold promise, but I know that you wouldn't be on this call if you didn't want that. So here's the big idea. I believe that when we're fulfilled at work, we're happier at home, and our world is a better place. So it all starts with wanting to live and not only survive. And when you stick around, some of you are in different places with me. Some of you have taken a strategy session with me. You haven't necessarily been approved for one of my programs, but you are interested in learning more. Some of you are clients already, and some of you have never been in a strategy session. But here's the deal. If you stick around to the end of the webinar, I'm going to give you some ways that you can get some free stuff, whether or not you buy anything. And I'm going to show you how you can get hundreds of dollars in your pockets, whether you decide that you're going to be a client of mine or not. Now, I want to skip, because I know GB is in the call and I don't know how long we have him. So I'm going to tell you my story in a minute. But I want to skip to somebody who is awesome sauce, which is JB Glossinger. So let me just introduce JB Glossinger to you very quickly for those of you that don't know him. Some of you guys do, because that's where I met you. JB Glossinger is the founder of morningcoach.com. He's internationally known as a motivational speaker. He's really known also for his just forthright vulnerability and being like real and being who he is and showing people how he got to where he is today. He is a author of The Sacred Six, which is now being published through Hay House. And he's all that and so much more. His podcast has been consistently at the top of the charts, iTunes, beating Oprah and other celebrities. And I always wanted to ask you this, JP. It says that you're a modern day archaeologist bringing esoteric wisdom to the masses. Is that sort of tongue in cheek?
No, I really believe that the books that I've studied, there is a lot of esoteric wisdom that is not known, and that's kind of what I'm bringing to the world is, the true secrets of power and enlightenment and joy and happiness. And that's really what I'm about. I wanted to be an archaeologist growing up, and instead of being a real archaeologist, going out there and digging and stuff, I became a life archaeologist, which is pretty cool. I've studied a lot of pretty much, every personal development book that's out there, but then a lot of the esoteric wisdom as far as all the different spiritualities and religions. I've studied all the religions that pretty much the known ones and even some of the unknown and dug into a lot of the books. So it's been a fun journey.
Yeah, I love that you're say more about who you are and, some of your background. There's people that just want to know who you are.
Yeah, no, it's cool. I'm very humble. I come from Indiana and worked real hard to get to where I am, went through corporate, got to the board of directors and just really wasn't having a lot of fun in life until I made some changes. And those changes included building my own business and going out and helping people and writing books and failing consistently over and over and over again. And going through a lot of pain to reach joy, which Quran says, which I love, is that to experience ultimate joy, sometimes you have to experience ultimate pain. And so I've been there. I've had the battles and the struggles, and whether it's been an egoic struggle or a spiritual struggle, trying to figure out what was going to bring me that joy, that happiness, and the peace, and finding that has just been an amazing journey.
So you worked in corporate America for a while, and it wasn't working for you. Will you say more about how you decided to sort of make the leap and, what made you decide that you just couldn't do it anymore?
Yeah, I don't think corporate America is bad. I'll say that first. I think there's a lot of people with great careers and they should stick with them if they love it and they're happy and excited. But I have a thing. If you're complaining and moaning a lot, then you probably need to make a change, unless it's just whining. So if you're whining, it's different. If you're just going in and saying, this is not why I'm here, then that's different than just really hating what you're doing. And that's kind of where I got, is I was hating what I was doing. And I had to analyze why that was. And I looked at my values and found that I wanted to be free. And that's how I've always been, I believe in freedom. I don't like authority. I like to do what I want when I want. And I couldn't do that in my position, even run on the board and being the boss. I still was locked down with responsibility and having to be there. And it just wasn't working. And so I finally said, you know what? I've been complaining about this for too long and starting to get very negative. That means I need to make a change. And that's when I said, I'm going to go do my own thing.
And, for some of the folks on the call too, I know that they're not necessarily wanting to do their own thing. They're just wanting to make a change. And so talk a little bit about what, was it hey, you know what? I have to have flexibility and freedom more than I am afraid to do this. Just a little deeper on what did you just say, I don't care if I have the confidence or not. It's I have to do it.
Yeah, Nina, that's a great question, by the way. It's a great segue, especially for people, like I said, that are just kind of, maybe things aren't working out the way they want it in their job right now, right? And so they don't want to leave, but they need to change things, just like you said. Well, there's a couple things you can do. One, you have to analyze, what's important to you. And if you realize that, hey, that weekly paycheck and that company you're working for and making a difference in that company is important to you, then you have to make changes so that you can do those things. So that might be getting more education. That might be joining a mastermind like yours. That might be, reading a lot of books. It could be learning a new skill. But those are the changes that will get you to that next level, or what I call your mission. by understanding what's important to you. But most people never take the time to really figure that out, and they're just doing everything for everybody else like I was. I was listening to what everybody else said, all the way from Tony Robbins to all of them. I was doing everything they said, and I was reaching super levels of success. What nobody ever helped me with was to say, hey, is this what you really want? Is this what you really want to do at the deep core level? And so when you're getting frustrated and things aren't where they need to be, you have to look at what is important to you and then gather the resources to get you to the next level. For me, that was learning how to write, learning the internet. I was a 2-finger typist. I didn't even know what the internet was. I couldn't understand how to build a website. I had to learn a whole new skill set to go into a whole new business for myself. Again, thinking if you are going to stay in your current situation but want change, there are some things that you may need to do. By the way, if you hear snoring, that is not anybody on here. That is my lab. I have a 94 lab that's underneath my feet right now. And he's actually snoring pretty loud. So you can hear that.
We can't hear it, but I do want to say it's awesome that just happened, because one of the things I wanted to tell everyone on the call, a little story about how you named your dogs and how that actually like went along with your transition in life. Because I know your current dog's name is Neo, right? And your previous dog's name was
Nico.
So one of the things that happens oftentimes is, you talked a little bit about crew and, having resources once you're clear. Some of the folks on this call know, like they know that they want to be a business owner. They just don't know how they're going to get the resources to do it, right? Or they need partners or a mentor or whatever, coach. But you it's funny because if I understood correctly, you sort of, you became new. And so you kind of then started naming your dog after that. Is that right? Am I?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah. So it's all about, the beginner mind and allowing yourself to, understand where you need to be. And Neo, as you know, is kind of like from the Matrix too. So I'm a big Matrix fan, but it's all about allowing yourself to be a beginner. And I think so many times there's so much judgment that we don't take a step out because we're scared to fail. Right. And I think we all are. Nobody wants to be judged. Nobody likes to ask somebody to go out on a date and be told no. I mean, those are really, really hard things that happen to us. Right. And so when we go out in business, it's really easy to feel like a failure. I mean, I wrote my first book, as you know, 4,000 copies, sold like 3, had those all over my house, couldn't sell them. It was the most, every time I came home, I felt like the biggest loser there ever was. I was failing every step of the way in my business, but I learned that, I was a beginner and I needed to get more resources. I needed to rally around. That's when I joined the NSA. I got my coaches in order, and it took me time. It took me probably, I think, 5 or 6 years before I first broke a profit, but it was just, I just stuck with it and got the right resources around me to get there, and actually had the persistence to keep moving forward.
I know that you're financially successful and you have a meaningful career now, and it seems like that just didn't stop you, because I know that you're a member of a mastermind group too, right? You belong to one.
I belong to like 3.
I love it.
Yeah. And I'm always, if the group makes sense, it makes sense to me. My big thing is I'm not a traveler, but so those are the areas that have changed my life. I wouldn't be published with Hay House if it wasn't for one of the masterminds that I'm in. I wouldn't be connected to Sean Platt, who we've become great friends, who is really the next Stephen King, if it wasn't for my masterminds. So I think that one of the things people kind of miss out on is they think they have to do everything themselves. And there is some truth to that. I'm not going to sit here and say that, one of the big things people like to do is these JV partnership things, right? We all hear about them. You get these people to do. Look, the truth of the matter is most people aren't going to do anything for you. But the difference with a mastermind is you have a support group of people that bounce your ideas off of and build your belief. And that's the key thing, is that when you're out there on your own, or even making a change at the corporate level, the belief level is not there yet because you haven't done it. And a mastermind of different people thinking ideas and thoughts will help you get to that level where you start believing. For me, some of the groups I'm in, I'm like, he did what? I'm like, he's just like me. What do you mean? I can do that if he did that. And so there's a lot more to it than just, all these people are going to help me build my business. No, more than likely that's not going to happen in a mastermind. What is going to happen is you're going to build the belief and get the support, which is really what you need. We all need that.
And I love that you said that, because one of the things, and for those of you who know, I'm a part of JB's mastermind group, and I've already grown leaps and bounds. I mean, it's really completely changed so much. I'm so glad you said that, because one of the things I think happens to us is that we don't see in ourselves what other people see. And I know that you see me in a different way than I could see myself. There are certain strengths I had, I couldn't even see them.
Yeah, 100%. And that is what happens is you start to see everyone in a different light, and everybody builds each other up. And as you know, true success comes from each other building each other up. And again, a lot of that doesn't have to be like actual physical monetary gain, but actually in a sense that people start to believe in you and strengthen you. And that's what it really does. So, for anybody that's struggling, that's a great way to make a change. That's one resource. And I know you have yours, Nina, that I think people should tie into to help them, is to, tie in with a group, and you facilitate a group. So I think that's a good resource for everybody.
Say more about your book. I had the honor to be able to read it, and it's actually part now of our leadership program and our mastermind group now. So everybody gets a copy that joins the group. Say a little more about, your book and your inspiration. Hay House, like, wow, that's just really inspiring. Say a little more.
Yeah, it's been great. I mean, I'm a paid writer. It's unbelievable. My D's in grammar, irregardless, I actually have a published book now, and I'm paid, and actually they're ready for the next one. So wow. It's getting pretty scary, to realize that I am now a writer. I write for the business journals also, and it's something that, I mean, literally, I was a two-finger typist. I couldn't even spell. I mean, spelling was just, desperation. I actually think I'm a little dyslexic, just to be honest. I have problems with the I's and E's. I always see them wrong. But it just goes to show you that if you stick with it long enough, that you can be successful. So that aspect of it's been great. But what's really strong about the Sacred Six is it's my process over the last 20 years of how I found my freedom. So identifying the mission, the values, getting some goals in place, putting the projects in the daily tasks. So the beautiful thing about it is a process that really is simple and easy to use. And it's a life process. So I'm excited about it because the reception's been amazing. I think we got 36 5-star reviews, which is so awesome. And it's only been out a week. But sales are really great all over the world, and it's been a real fun process. I didn't know if I'd enjoy it because I had to wait so long to get, going with traditional, but I really believe it's helping so many people, and that's what's cool about it.
I want to open this up, if you're okay, with the chat. See if anybody has any questions. Go ahead and chat. What your questions might be.
Yeah, that'd be great if we want to open up a few minutes, and then you can rock and roll. Again, I just wanted to come support you. I know how awesome you are and what you're doing in the world today, and people need to connect more with you because of the things that you're bringing. And we're all here. You're like me. We're here to help. And I mean, sometimes when people attend webinars or come to events, they are the people real, And the truth is we are. And I know Nina's real and I'm real. And, we build our business from a heartfelt position. Yes, we have to make money. That's the only way we grow a business. But at the end of the day, we're going to give value and help. And that's what I think is so important that everybody else gets too. If we can build businesses that way, the world gets to be better. And I know that's the way you do it. And I love it.
Yeah. You know what? Almost all of my all of my clients want to they're all helpers. And the hardest thing the hardest hurdle for them is to take that desire and help themselves.
Yes.
They're so focused on other people's development, and they're so passionate about it. I know that there's a woman on the call I'm really excited to work with, and she loves helping people feel beautiful. And she's got an opportunity now to buy a business. And she needs some support with some negotiation skills, which are, things that you and I have learned over the years, right, by failing. Okay, so if there's any questions, just go ahead and chat them. Anything at all, I'd love to hear, any questions you have for us.
Yeah, it's all good. So yeah, and that's awesome, and that's why we have to have the support groups. That was a great example of where, working with somebody really comes into play. When you don't have a skill set, you bring somebody else in to help you. I say everybody should have a really good mastermind, or a few masterminds they're in. Everybody should have a good lawyer. Everybody should have a good accountant, right? And that's
For
your
sure.
team. Talk about your crew. That's kind of your crew, and then obviously the people that you want around you. So I'm just happy to stop by. I mean, like I said, if anybody has any questions, if not, it's cool. Nina, I'll let you rock.
Yes.
It's a lot of fun. I hope I answered some your thoughts and at least helped you with what you wanted, right?
Yeah, you did, and I know that you inspired other people because of your realness, and how long
Cool.
it took you. And so, thank you so much for joining us.
No problem, Nina. Well, thank you so much, and you keep rocking. I know how awesome you are. I love you, and thank you everybody for participating today too. Keep on, because Nina's got some great stuff coming here at the end of the webinar too.
Yes, and you can visit JB Glossinger, morningcoach.com. You can also look up his book, The Secret Six, on your Hay House on Amazon and in your local bookstores as well.
Awesome.
Thanks again, JB.
Awesome. Thank you.
Bye. All right. Okay. Let's see. Okay. So here I am as a little girl, and etc. Very happy teenager. You can see in that photo. So I wanted to tell you a little bit about me. I grew up with just my mom, and let's see. Somehow, let me just make sure everybody's on mute. Okay. I grew up with just a single mom, no support from my dad. I grew up in Davie, Florida, which is very, I don't know how else to say this without sounding mean, but there's not really a lot of people of color or different backgrounds there. So, it was very difficult for me moving from New York and having, being Latin and, Italian and Jewish and all this, to sort of live in a place that's not really happy that I'm there. I lost my New York accent pretty fast. But in the summertime, my mom and I, she would sing, and she'd tell me about the dreams of my family and all the things she wanted for me. And she sang to me as the day went by, I want to live, not only survive. And so my life was a study in contrasts for a number of reasons. I struggled with not feeling worthy, not good enough. I lived with the not enough, not eight is enough. But the thing is that I thought that that's all there was. And so singing and working with knowing that I didn't have a lot of financial resources, my main focus was getting a good job with a good company. I didn't want to live in the trailer parks. I wanted to feel safe walking home at night. And I landed a position at American Express at 17 years old. And so for 17 years, I worked my way up through the ranks of American Express, saving millions of dollars, restructuring international operations, and leaving eventually as a global project manager. So there I am. I won the Chairman's Award for Quality, which is one of the highest awards you can win in the company. I worked all day, took classes at night. So here, what happened was that in 2005, my brother was diagnosed with cancer. And so in the same week, my department was dismantled. And I was so happy. I was so happy. It was like the only person, I wasn't happy that my brother got cancer, of course not, but I was really happy that the department got dismantled so I could go help my brother. My brother's cool now. He's like amazing. He's well. But I knew that there was something more. And so I wanted to live that song. I want to live, not only survive. And so with my international experience in Fortune 100 companies, I made $5 million within the first 5 years of business. And so I was preoccupied with solving problems for dream clients like JP Morgan Chase and HP and Land O'Lakes. And I'm 5 years into building this amazing company. I have 17 employees. I have profits. I have all the luxuries I want. I went and found good life skills. I went and, did tons of personal development. Got all the nifty certifications, told you I got my master's degree, but there was still something missing. And so I just knew there was something missing. So here, I forgot to show you this slide. Anyway, if you're looking, so here's some of the companies that I worked with. You can see they're pretty decent big names, right? I mean, I should be happy, right? Like, I mean, a lot of people would be happy with money coming in, but I wanted something more than just money. I wanted to make a difference in people's lives. And I walked away. I walked away from my values of being creative and using my intuition that really kept me going. So in 2010, I had, 5 years into the company and money's coming in. I have great people working with me. I get a call that my mom has passed away. And my mother had very little living. My mother never wrote the song I sang to you. I wrote it because I wished that she had. And so it's really hard for me still to talk about because I wish that I could have helped my mom live and not only survive. So in that moment, at her funeral, I just promised myself that I wasn't going to just survive. I was going to live. And with all of my business knowledge, I was going to help anyone who wanted to have a business of their own or wanted a different career. I knew that I was going to be the person that not on my watch, I was going to do whatever I could to get them to being fulfilled and to leave a lasting legacy on this earth. So what happened is I walked away from global re-engineering clients. It was one of the hardest things I had to do because I had to let all these people go and find other positions. I kept a couple projects, still have those, but I don't really work in them full-time as a consultant anymore. And so I went to chamber meetings and I had a fully optimized website. I had hundreds of thousands of dollars I could spend on marketing. And so that's what I did. But the only problem is you need to keep spending hundreds of thousands of dollars to be number one in some of these Google, searches and stuff like that. So, I knew that I had marketing and sales, background, but I couldn't see it for myself, and in fact, my master's degree in business actually worked against me in some ways. So I did what JB said, actually. I joined a mastermind group. I got a mentor, got a couple mentors, I had a coach, a couple coaches, and I really dug in on Robert Kiyosaki, Napoleon Hill. I just found what they had in common, and there's 3 powerful things. And for those of you that are part of my program, you know this. The three components to having a powerful leadership presence and having the work life that will bring you fulfillment can really be boiled down in 3 steps, and it's ACE, ACE. And the first question is, how aligned are you? How aligned are you with living your values? When you live your values, you get energy. When you are aligned with what brings you meaning and what can bring you financial success, you can have the career you want. You're putting yourself in a position to do that. So take a moment now. I said this was interactive, and so if you have a piece of paper and pen, write down ACE, ACE on your piece of paper. And think about how aligned you are with living your priorities. How aligned are you with living your priorities? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like, I lived my priorities 99.99% of the time. That's awesome. That's awesome. I would love to hear more about how you do that. So if you have any words of wisdom, go ahead and put them in the chat and we'll share them. For those of you that know that you're not really living your values, you're not really utilizing all your strengths. Maybe you're struggling with not feeling like you're enough, or maybe you just need financial resources to help you get to the next level. How aligned are you with being able to get those financial resources, with knowing what you need to know, with knowing what business model works best for you? Think about what you might need there. And then the second one is crew. We talked about a crew. And a crew, if you follow me at all, are people that are 99.99% committed to your success. You can be vulnerable with them because the only agenda they have is to point you to forward focused movement. I could multiply my effectiveness when I worked with other leaders that had complementary skills that I needed. I'm a creator. I love to create. But in my mastermind group, I have someone that can help me keep my feet on my ground with the number of projects. And actually, my assistant is on the call right now, and she knows that I can just, throw 10 things at her. And so I need her to slow me down and say, wait a minute, let's look at the timing of these things. And so, I need, like JB said, a good accountant, a good person to help me with my cash flow and remind me of, what do I need to do to continue with the cash flow that I'm wanting to have. So, think about that. Think about how much money do you really need and how much money do you really want just to be able to get to your dream. And, who is on your crew right now? You have a lot of emotional support, but who might be able to give you some business support and emotional support? And who might be able to see you for who you are that you can't see in yourself? So what's your exit strategy? Now, I know that sounds a little strange, but here's the thing. When I decided I was only going to work with people that I respected and enjoyed after my mom passed away, I had to think about how I wanted to exit the ultimate exit, which is how do I want to exit the earth? And I didn't want people to say, oh, wow, she was so wealthy. How cool. That wasn't enough for me. I really had to think about what people would say at my funeral. And so begin with the end in mind. So think about that. What do you want your legacy to be on this earth? Do you want to just, maybe you're the person that, you want to stay in a career because that's, your highest values, to have loyalty and connection and community, and that's totally cool. So think about, if you just started a business or you're starting a business, what's your exit strategy? What does the business have to make financially? What do you have to make financially, and what do you need to be able to get there? So kind of work backwards, what's your ultimate vision? And then you kind of work backwards from there. So I want to talk to you a little bit about some people that I've worked with in the past. And these are ACE leaders. They're connected to their core values and they create through them. J.R. Rook was an attorney, and I worked with him actually to start his own practice as an entrepreneur. He's one of the best coaches actually for attorneys on the West Coast. Jeff Rinkus, COO of ABB Optical Group. I worked with him to influence his board to create new initiatives, saving his company millions of dollars year after year. Why that is because he really values innovation, and his board sometimes, now that they just got purchased, have a hard time with that because they're very focused on numbers. And so what he had to do was tie his values of creativity and innovation to making the company millions of dollars, and that doesn't always go hand in hand. I want to talk to you a little bit about some more ACE leaders. And the next ACE leader, the thing will let me click. Oh, there we go. ACE leaders ACE leaders are committed to their crew, and their crew is committed to them. So Chilla Anderson is the head of content at Nokia Technologies. She had she had two departments that weren't working well together, and so we were able to get them to understand how to work well together as a crew. What are their common goals? What aren't their common goals? How do we complete the processes so that they're as smooth as possible? The handoffs are as smooth as possible. And how do we look at the talents of our team and utilize our strengths? Jaime Lima Neto is the Director of Technologies at American Express Travel. And Jaime is actually a true relationship leader. He knows already how to engage the talents of his entire crew, except here's the deal. He's getting higher and higher up in the organization. And so now he's having to build leaders of leaders. And so I actually worked with him, and he worked in my program and coaching and mastermind group to get where he is today, which is really right on the edge of being in the C-level at American Express. This is a great story for those of you who want to stay in an organization. Mary Berger. ACE leaders know how to execute on their plan, and they know how to exit at the right moment. Mary actually decided that she wasn't happy in her position. She was making tons of money, and she actually took less money to do process improvement work. because that was more fulfillment for her. And she realized that, she could get by with less money, and she's totally cool with that. Michael Kublan, he actually left American Express and became president of People Tech. He had to do that at the right moment. He actually worked at American Express, saved his money so that he could build a pipeline of clients and he could transition really strongly. And some of you are in that spot where you might have to do a little extra to get there. I want to tell you about a story. This is one of my favorite stories. This is actually about Sean. He is a true ACE leader. A few weeks ago, I was in between client sessions. Actually, it's a few months now, actually. And he called. He's in my leadership program. And for the past 6 months, he's been working closely to have a full-time entrepreneurial program company. So we worked with him, aligning his leadership values, his stake for his business, which is belief. And he created his business offerings. He had his business packages, created knew the needs of his customer, knew his customer and his customer's customer really well. And so we ran the numbers. We gave out a financial plan, and he created an exit plan to full-time work in his own company. Now, I can't promise you this, but in his case, he worked his butt off, and in 6 months, he transitioned from being a director of digital marketing for a highly detailed person. That's the best way I can say it. And in 6 months, he actually left his position and was smoothly with a full pipeline of clients. And I can show you how to do that. I can't promise you it's going to be 6 months because Sean worked harder than almost anybody I know. But now think about this. On a scale from 1 to 10, just 10 being the most, you guys who work with me long enough know, how much money do you make right now? On a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being like, I make enough money, I have extra to give, and I'm totally fine with the amount of money I make. So on a scale from 1 to 10, how much money are you making? That, how satisfied are you with it? And on the other question is, once you decide, like, okay, I'm making, I'm at an 8, or maybe I'm a 7, or maybe I'm a 6, I don't know. But whatever the number is, ask yourself how much you're willing to invest in making that number higher. Maybe it's not about money for you at all. Maybe it's not about money for you at all. Maybe it's about how fulfilled you are. So on a scale from 1 to 10, 10 being the highest, how much money, regardless of how much money is in the bank, how fulfilled do you feel right now with the work that you have? How fulfilled do you feel with the work you have right now on a scale from 1 to 10? Now, some of you are I know one of you in particular on the call is in my program, and she just got accepted to her master's degree, and her ultimate dream is to launch a global health awareness for women. And so she is actually not necessarily at a 10, but she's in my program, and she's working her way to get to that 10 in fulfillment and having a work life that makes the world a better place. So it all starts with willingness. So how willing are you to get fulfilled on a scale from 1 to 10? How willing are you to invest in your own fulfillment and invest in your own financial success? Now, some of you guys are helpers, and this is the hardest thing you're ever going to have to do, which is help yourself. And let me just say that it's really easy. I totally get it, to get caught up in our own stuff, whether it's scary projects or your to-do list for others. But here's the deal. Think about how you may benefit others when you're actually helping yourself. I just want to say one other thing. I literally do have multiple coaches. I have multiple mentors. I go to therapy. I'm in a 12-step program for, I grew up with an alcoholic dad, right? So I'm in a 12-step program to still deal with the effects of that. So I practice what I preach, and I need you to know that, because I wouldn't ever want to go with anybody that didn't love me and know that that treated me like a dollar sign. And if you're in my program, you will never feel that way, because you know that I am totally love you, and I would never invite you to work with me if I couldn't say that. But here's the deal. All of that stuff that I do for myself, I'm able to pass that on to the people I work with, and you can do that too. So if you really want to be of value, invest in yourself. I don't care if it's with me. I don't care who it's with. just make a commitment and take care of yourself, okay? All right, here's another story. I just want to quickly say this person is in my inner circle. He asked that I don't say his name. I'm not going to. He transitioned from one company to another. He was a manager being underpaid. We did a skills assessment. We did some mock interviews with him, helped him rebrand himself as a leader. We walked all through his process of trying to get to a different position. And so his crew was able to show him, no, you're not an imposter. You actually have these skills. And so he went for this position that was potentially out of reach. And we waited and we waited because it's with a Fortune 500 company. And he was nervous and he did really well on his interview. He actually did get the position. He got an 80% salary increase. I'm not going to lie to you. I'm not going to say that I can get you an 80% salary increase. I'm not going to say that. But what I will say is he was able to do it because that's what he really wanted, and he was able to leverage these resources to get there. Another person, this is the final story actually, this leader is a successful C-level. His company's grown 10 times over the past 10 years. And when he came to me, he was a C-level in high organization. He couldn't talk to his wife because his wife had different values, right? She wanted a consistent income. She didn't want him to do anything that would shake that up. He didn't really have anybody on his crew. He had a boss, but his boss has different, also can't be objective because his boss is counting on him to do what he needs to do. So he had basically no crew. He had no one at 99.99% committed to his success. And so just take a minute now and write down the following. Who is on my crew? Who is my mentor? Now that can be somebody you know or somebody who's just out there. Like for me, my mentor's JB is also Richard Branson, right? I have a couple mentors depending on what it is. Who are my mentors? And if you have an open position for a mentor, then what's important to you about having a mentor? Like what do they need to be for you? Who's my coach? Who supports me? Who leads me forward? And who has the knowledge that I need to get to my next step in business, in life? Who's my coach? Coaches. And for some of you, you need partners. You need business partners. Everybody does, honestly. I don't care who you are. You cannot build a business, a meaningful and prosperous business without people. And knowing who can be by your side, who is so much in your business by your side that your success is their success. Who is that? And who gives you the big picture? I know I'm going a little fast here because I want to honor time. We're sort of running out. Okay, so here's the question. If what you're doing right now isn't giving you the lifestyle and the legacy you want to leave, isn't it time you found a better way? Think about how much time you're wasting. Think about emotionally what you're going through. And for any of you that have lived the earth long enough, you know that it's very difficult. The older we get, the more people around us pass away. And so think about what the cost is. Now, I know that my program's not the only way. I know it. And I know you could probably go it alone. And that's okay. For some of you that haven't taken advantage of our strategy session, go ahead and think about that. You know, what a strategy session with me will give you is an objective set of years, guidance and direction, and a plan for you. Now, some of you, actually few of you will get approved for the program. Only 20% of the people that are on the strategy call with me get approved for the program. But you could, the first step is a strategy session with me, and at least I will provide you some value. I'll provide you some I have a massive set of resources. If I need to make an introduction, I'm happy to help you. You'll also get Franklin Covey Compass Guide, Making It Fun, and The Art of Making Money. Now, I promised you actually that whether or not you work with me, I would honor you and give you some stuff for free if you stay till the end. And so I want to tell you what that is in just a sec. But here's the thing, as you can hear, I promise to deliver as much valuable information and inspiration in the time we're together. so that you can take one positive action step at least by the time you get off the phone with me. So again, I'm not for everyone. I'm only working with people that are committed to having a life well lived, that are curious. They know that things aren't going perfectly, and they're wanting just to learn. And they're people who don't want a cookie cutter approach. They don't want to listen to an e-course. They don't want to read something. They just don't want self-study. They want a group of people to support them. So if you're committed to making things happen for you and your business, you might be a good fit for me. If you're okay with being accountable, it might be a good fit for me. We might be a good fit for each other. If you're open to not just my feedback, but the feedback of people in your group. If you're ready to give honest feedback to others and say what you see, that's great. And if you're okay with not being the smartest person in the room, because you won't be, you'll be smart in some areas, but other people are just going to blow you away, then you might be a good fit. So I'm not going to go through all of this, but like just you know what it might mean to you to get out of where you're at. You know it. Now, for the first 3 people that sign up for my strategy session, I'm going to give a fast action bonus. And some of you have already gotten this because I liked what you said in your in the contact us page. Actually, that is my process. Usually, if you're not on if you're not on the webinar, and in fact, even if you're with me, I actually lead you through the contact us just to see if we're good fits. But if you're interested in a strategy session, I'm going to give you 50% off my normal hourly rate, which is $300. So for $150, you can get a strategy session with me. So for the others that sign up, I told you if you don't feel like you want to do that, that's totally cool. I'm gonna put a link in the chat in a minute as soon as I get it, and you can just click on it and you can download The Art of Making Money. You don't have to sign up for a strategy session with me. Okay, so now I'm gonna offer a Q&A. As I look for the link. So if you have any questions about how my program works, or if you want to, here we go. If you have any questions about what you get out of the strategy session, now is a good time to ask. Again, the link to purchase the strategy session is in the chat bar. The other thing I want to say is some of you have already taken strategy sessions with me, and I will honor the fast action bonus price that you have in your email. I will honor it, but you have to let me know before 12:01 a.m. on Friday, the 20th, because we have to plan for next month. In fact, I usually really only want it to be May 15th. So if you want that, you have to actually email me and say I'm ready. And when you're ready, I'll go ahead and send you a link to the fast action bonus, which is a couple $100 off monthly. All right, what questions do we have? What questions do we have? Let's see. Okay, let's see. Okay, actually, I just got a question from Marianne. She asked if I don't order for the strategy session by the end of the webinar, can I still get the offer? And that's a really good question, but unfortunately, as I said, only using this price for people that take advantage of this right now. So yes, you have to actually click on the strategy session link. Otherwise, you have to go through a little bit of a longer process, and I may or may not do a strategy session with you. So I'm sorry for that, but that's the way it is. What else? Okay, how large are your groups? How large are your groups? So The group that you will be in will be a special group for you. Actually, sometimes make you wait a month or two just to make sure you're in a good group for you, if you get approved. And the group is never any bigger than 5 to 6. I like to keep it 5 to 6, but it's never been bigger than 10. Everybody that works with me wants to make a big difference. And so if you want to make a big difference, then this might be the group for you. What's included in the program? Okay, what's included in the program? So after the strategy session, again, you will leave with a plan. You will get some value. What is included in the program it depends on where you're at. I have 3 different programs. All of them really include, it's sort of a one-stop shop. Like, I hate getting nickeled and dimed. I hated that. So I've taken all the knowledge and all of the business tools. They're all in one spot. And so, and if we don't have them there, I buy them for you. So you just have, all you have to worry about is doing the work you need to do to get to the next level. Working with me one-on-one and working with you. All right, well, it's 1 o'clock, you guys, and I want to respect your time. Thank you so much again for joining. I hope that you were able to get some value out of the call. And if you have any other questions, I'm only a phone call away. Thanks again. Have a great day. Bye.